Here's Steve Kerr on that.
I feel great about my position here, and I want to be here. I know Mike and Joe want me here, and so I'm very confident something will get done, but I'm not stressed about it at all, and I'm perfectly capable of coaching, whether I have 1 year left or an extension makes no difference. So, but I fully expect to be here.
Do you believe him? Do you believe that whether he gets an extension or not doesn't matter?
Oh, no. I believe
it doesn't matter to him, doesn't matter to the team, doesn't matter to the fan base.
No. But if his name was Tony and he had reached the heights that Steve Kerr has in his job, it should matter. And Bob Myers, I still have, what do they call that, Steiny? PTSD from thinking, oh, nothing's happening here. And now, look, we just talked to him from New York. So can I ask you, do you believe him? I believe.
No, I don't.
Oh.
I don't believe him at all.
Well, then that's probably why they're at the situation is what it. He said he's comfortable coaching this year out.
Yeah, Bob said the same thing, and then he walked. Better be careful. That's the only thing I'd say. And I'm not sure.
I don't like that at all.
Well,
I can't imagine a new coach for the Warriors. That's all. And I don't want one.
See, I can't imagine Steve Kerr coaching a new Warriors team, if you know what I mean.
But
and
we're
not
not
there
3 or
yet.
4 more years of Curry and 5. I love you, Chef.
You think?
You know something I don't?
I know that if...
Well, at least 3 for all of them.
I disagree. I think if the Warriors...
Fall off?
If they... Well,
they're not going to fall off.
Well, what if they just don't win it again?
That's okay.
Oh, you won't... I think if they don't win it again, they'll try to break it up. And that'll mean trades.
Well, when do you decide you can't win it again? Because 2022, that one is still fresh, baby.
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's not fresh anymore.
There's one team that won it since they won it.
Fresh anymore. The Denver title is fresh.
Oh, you don't believe that?
I absolutely believe that. Absolutely. But so if the Warriors finish 48 and 34,
okay, losing the same conference semis, same thing, same as last year.
You bring back the same team again?
Why wouldn't I?
Because that would be 2 years in a row.
Right on the table. Well, what can I do? What are you saying?
Then just acknowledge the run's over at that point.
No, the run's over when Curry's not in a Warrior uniform. And if you want to talk about off-the-court impact and you were going to do something with one of the big 3, you're going to feel the brunt of that if you were to say, okay, we'll do this and that, and Steph Curry or Dre's not a Warrior. You just got married to Dre again for 4.
You thought they got married to Jordan Poole.
That hurt me. That was different, though.
No, it wasn't. They listen. I fully bbelieve
that hurt me.
I fully believe that by signing Draymond Green to a 4-year extension doesn't mean he's going to be here 4 years.
All right, now I
don't believe that for a second.
I'd be naive to say, but man, and something would really have to go wrong, is what I'm saying.
I don't think a ton would have to go wrong. The only thing to me that would have to go wrong is Joe Lacob looks at the Golden State Warriors at some point and says, "This team cannot win a title."
Do you think he's saying that now?
No, I don't.
All right.
And
I just wanted to ask.
And, I mean, there's 2 different things. Not thinking that you can win a title and knowing you're not going to win a title. I think he thinks they got a shot.
All right.
So if they have a shot,
think that way.
If they have a shot, then do right by Steph and Klay and run it back this year. But
you think Steve's thinking about something?
I don't expect a huge swing in the Warriors season from this year, what happens in last year.
Okay, so this is where, and I'm nosy by nature, but I wish I had the intel on, is Steve just pondering like Bob the rest of his life? What's he want to do after basketball? But he could say that into the mic, but all that he said, if I take him at his word, is he wants to keep coaching this team and be here. So, Steiny, that does bother me, like not what you've learned, Lacob, from the Bob Myers situation, but, Bob ain't at home some days. And I thought that's what it was all about. Why wouldn't this be done in a millisecond?
What?
Kerr, the highest paid NBA coach, if he wants to continue.
I'll answer it with a question. Why wasn't something done with Bob Myers? All he had to do was make Bob Myers the highest paid GM in the league. Bob probably would have come back. So it tells me maybe that number's not the highest contract for a coach in the league. But I do think
a lot of people agreeing with you on the Comcast business text line. Like that's what they said about same thing about Bob.
I think the one tricky thing I do think the Warriors have, and I'd love to hear what Warrior fans think about this at 888-957-9570. But let's say they extend Klay, because Klay and Steve Kerr are extension eligible. Kerr's doesn't have anything to do with salary cap. But if they, I believe if they extend Klay, and now we have the big three under contract for 3 or 4 more years, I don't think that means they're absolutely going to retire as Warriors. I think what it would say to me is Joe Lacob saying to Klay Thompson, "We're going to get you under contract, and we want you to be here. We want all you guys to be here, but it only makes sense if you're all here if we can contend." So if the Warriors don't contend this year, then I do think they could start looking at trades for. I mean, we're talking about everybody but Steph.
And you know what? You just hit me.
Hold real quick. Yeah. I'm sorry, Goo.
No, take your time.
Would Warrior fans, do you think that's a crazy idea? Or do you think that's a possibility? And that is you sign Klay, you re-sign Klay, and you give this group another shot at it, but they know, and we all know, that if they fall short, it might be time to move. It might be time to think about everybody but Curry. Fair? Not fair. 888-957-9570.
I think it's a bit premature. And Steiny, I'm being real, and this ain't about my fandom. They got action. We'll see how much, I'm assuming playoffs, we'll get into all that. But the way you just set that up with your words about looking to do this or send him there or wherever, Chris Paul's number 1 on that list. And I'm trying to be positive. I cannot shake how, and I told you and Evan in the green room, how I feel about listening to Dunleavy Jr., and it's his prerogative, but how Chris Paul was not, "Hey, guys, I'm going to get CP3. What do you think? Thumbs up. Be right back. Look what I got. I closed it." This seems to be going down a tract of, a road of, yeah, we got him. It don't fit, but how much do we placate to his ego and what he's meant? And if they decide that his ego, they need to feed more so than what they've built, then we got a problem.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And I want to be clear, because I hear some people on the YouTube chat, your boy Len says it's not going to happen. I want to be clear. I'm not talking about trading him now. I'm not talking about trading anybody right now. I'm asking if this scenario is a possibility, and that is, you re-sign Klay. Now you have the big three back for 3 or 4 more years, and it's basically it's a handshake agreement. It's an understood agreement between Joe Lacob and management and the big three. You guys can stay together as long as you're knocking on the door. And if Joe Lacob doesn't feel like they're knocking at the door, then I think everything's on the table, but the franchise.
And he may not have to come to them. They may go to him if it were to get to that degree, Donnie, to where it was obvious to everybody that they. But we're so far from that. Warriors going to be.
Let me throw this one at you from the 408 on the Comcast Business text line. I understand what you're saying, trading one of the big three, but they're still going to make a ton of money with the big three, even if we don't win a championship. But we are going to win a championship. See, that's where I disagree. I agree. If they keep the big three together, they're going to make money. But does anybody really think Joe Lacob will keep the big three together if he knows they can't win it? That's the opposite of everything we know about Joe Lacob, right?
But when do you know that?
After this year. I mean, that's after this year. I mean, to me, what I would do is, okay, you want to talk about the title 2 years ago? You won a title 2 years ago. So then what'd you do? We ran it back. And there were a lot of issues.
Non-basketball issues.
And basketball issues.
I'll give you that, but the biggest was the non-basketball, Poole and Draymond.
Well, I don't want to fight you on that now, but okay. I could say the biggest is a big part of it is the basketball, that they're declining. But, I mean, all I'm saying is that the Warriors, if Joe Lacob doesn't think they can win it, then everything's on the table, I would think.
Right.
But I get what you're saying. Like, would it be enough for Joe Lacob to sell out Chase Center 3 years from now, but they're not a contender? I don't know.
I just think we'll never see that. You know what I mean? And I could be in denial.
Well, hold on. What will we never see?
Where the day where Joe Lacob can say, I got Clay, Dre, and Steph, and we don't have a chance to win it. And I'm throwing Wiggins in there too, and his absence last year and how that threw everything out of whack. But Steiny, I believe the 400 for Draymond. I get you. It's new. The ink ain't dried. But that's Joe saying just what you set up. All right, let's go. Clay's probably coming here in the next week or two, you would hope, and hopefully Kerr, because that's the one that's eating at me. Because I don't know if it's him or I don't know what Joe would need to see more.